Hello everyone. Today's activity we are going to be making a Rhino. Now the Rhino build set, a lot of thought and time actually went into this one. After doing the lion one, I determined that the assembly was a little bit too difficult, so we actually made this one a little bit more logical as far as its assembly. It's going to be far easier than the lion build, however, it does have a few more pieces, and there is kind of a interesting setup as far as the dimensions and everything goes. So the first piece that you're going to want to pop out is going to be this piece right here. It is the part that has the rhino horn on it, and if you notice there's actually two horns on it, and this particular piece does not have any legs. So go ahead and pop that piece out now. Okay, so this particular piece has all these individual notches. If you take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each of these notches will need to be cleaned out, that way the legs and all the other pieces can fit in. Go ahead and take a moment to remove all those pieces now. Once you get all those notches clear, just like this, you notice that there are 3 notches on the top once we get past this first hump. 1, 2, 3, and we have 2 notches on the bottom. We're going to start with the back notch that's towards the back side of the Rhino. So what we want to do is we have these 3 back pieces right here, 1, 2, and 3. We want to find the one that does not have a silhouette of the bird. So the one that doesn't have a silhouette with the bird is going to be this piece right here. It's round on one end and rectangular on the other 3 sides. Go ahead and clean out the notches on those 3. And once you have those 3 cleaned out, it will look like this right here. We want to find the center notch on this piece, and this will actually connect onto the back side of the Rhino, just like that. So again, center notch to this piece right here, and go ahead and slide it in. Okay, so we have these next 2 pieces, and again we want to find the ones with the birds, the other 2 with the silhouette that has either 1 or 2 birds on it. One of them looks like this, and the second one looks like that. And go ahead and clean out these bottom notches right here. What's nice about each of these pieces is these 3 pieces are interchangeable depending upon if you want the birds to be on the front or the back. The bottom notches themselves are all the same. The way that I have mine set up, go ahead and find the center notch on the double bird and line that up with this front notch right here. It'll be 2 away from the very back, and slide that in. And then we have 1 with the single bird. Go ahead and find the center notch, and that goes right into the back of the Rhino. So we have 2 birds, 1 bird, and then just its backside right here. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get the left and the right side pieces. The left and the right side pieces are these 2 large pieces. Either side can be the left or the right. Just make sure that you identify which is the front side of the Rhino and which is the back side of the Rhino. Go ahead and pop at least one of them out. And the way that this is going to work is you're going to go ahead and clean out these notches in both the legs and the ones in the back once they're actually completely out. Just like that. Remember, the front is up here and the back side has the leg closest to it. You're going to take this, line it up, and you're going to put it into these 3 notches on one side. Just like that. And again, it is cardboard, So just be a little bit careful when pushing it in, try not to bend it. Get everything lined up, and then go ahead and push it into place, just like that. So that's the left side. So now we just need to do the same thing with the right side. Go ahead and pop out that other piece. That one right there. Once you have the piece popped out, go ahead and clean out all those notches. This is the front. It has kind of the long bulb shape. The leg is closest to the back. We're going to line it up so everything is going the right direction and slide it into those notches on top. Make sure that everything is pushed down all the way, that way they'll all be even. And once you have those, you can flip it upside down and slide the feet into place. So for the next step, what we want to do is we are going to grab the legs. Now initially when we made this, we had some difficulty with the legs. We actually redesigned them several times so that way they would fit properly. Go ahead and pull out both leg pieces right here and clean out these 3 notches on both of them. Now both of these legs are the same. Ooh, they are a little bit fragile, so be careful that you don't squeeze them too hard like I just did. Make sure that they line up. If they do not line up, then you may need to flip them around because one is slightly different on one side than the other. But once you have them lined up, all the little notches should line up. So we have our Rhino upside down right now. We're going to grab one of the feet. We already cleaned out all the notches. We want the grooves or the notches to line up evenly. Now just be careful, since your legs are a little bit fragile, that you don't accidentally smush it trying to forcefully push it down. Everything should line up into place just like that. And again, we'll do the same on the back side for these 3 notches, 1, 2, 3, and line it up with these 3 right here. 2 for the legs, 1 for the center. Give it a slight wiggle, and again you can use your finger to make sure the middle is lined up. Once that's all lined up, give it a push down, and then just kind of give it a gentle pat, that way it settles down flat. The feet should actually line up completely flat with the table surface, and now that's all that's left is to build the head. So the head's actually interesting. The first piece that we're going to need is this Mickey Mouse looking Rhino head right here. Go ahead and pop that piece out and clean out those 3 notches that you see. The piece will look like this. This piece is going to go right in these 3 open notches right before the first back piece. So it's most important to make sure that the center is lined up, since that one is going to be the one that you insert first. As you slide this down a little bit, you'll just need to be careful and give it a little wiggle and make sure that these side pieces right here and here line up. So I'll do that once more. I'll pull that back out. Make sure that the middle lines up first, and then sometimes either this side right here or this side right here can get caught. Just give it a little wiggle, make sure everything is lined up, and once it's lined up, everything should actually easily press down into place. So we have the primary headpiece into place. The next 2 pieces that we will need are these 2 kind of circular ball-shaped pieces. Go ahead and press those out, 1 and 2. Now one of these is slightly larger and one is slightly smaller. So the one that we need is the larger one first. I'll hold both of these up to compare them. The actual design itself are both the same, but if you hold one behind the other, you can see one is definitely larger than the other. We want the larger one of the two. So clean out these 3 notches, and this one is going to go directly in front of the head we just put on. It's going to be in the second notch from the very front where the horn. I'm going to go ahead and slide the longest notch in there and give it a small wiggle and press it down just like that. And then we're going to do the small one. It's going to go in the very front notch right there. We're going to put the longest one in the middle, right behind the horn. That one's probably the easiest one to put in right there. And as we look at the front, we want to try to line up this first notch with the second notch. That way we can actually build the jaw and the mouth of it. And we only have 2 pieces left. We have 1 piece here and 1 piece there. Now both of these pieces are the same. The most important thing again to remember is make sure that the notches are cleaned out of any cardboard. That way it will rest in place perfectly. But any one of these can either go on the left or the right side. So if I hold this up, I have my first piece. It's going to actually go slide in sideways into both of those. Again, make sure that those ovals are lined up properly, else you may end up struggling to try to get it in initially. And depending upon your students, if they're able to see that piece in order to be able to put it in, it can be a little tricky if you're not paying attention. If you look at it from the bottom, kind of like this angle right here, we're going to line the notches up just like that, and then just give it a tiny wiggle back and forth, and it should actually lay down flat just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with this side over here. We're going to lay it on this side, looking at it from the bottom. We're going to line our piece up with the 2 notches just like that. And give it a small press just like that. Once you're done with that, your Rhino model is completely done. It's actually a really cool model as far as seeing the 3-dimensional kind of contours and shapes. There's also some additional detail with seeing the little birds that you occasionally see that ride on the back of the Rhino. That way they can stay safe from predators. This one is actually a very decent model. It stays together extremely well. I think the design is actually very well made compared to a lot of the other ones. Overall, as far as difficulty goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say maybe it's about a 4. The mouth portion does add a additional layer of difficulty. I don't think it's anything advanced or moderately difficult. I would consider the lion to be moderately difficult. If you have any questions, you can go back and watch the video. Now we are going to take a moment to learn about the facts about rhinos. 3 of the 5 rhino species are critically endangered. The black, Javan, and Sumatran rhino are all at extremely high risk of extinction in the world. Our planet is home to 5 species of rhinoceroses: the black rhino and the white rhino, which live in Africa, and the Sumatran, Javan, and Indian, or greater one-horned rhino, which inhabit the tropical forests and swamps of Asia. These brilliant beasts are known for their awesome, giant horns that grow from their snouts, hence the name rhinoceros, meaning nose horn. Javan and Indian rhinos have 1 horn, whereas the white, black, and Sumatran rhinos have 2. These incredible creatures are some of the biggest animals in the world. The largest of the 5 species is the white rhino, which can grow to 1.8 meters tall and weigh a massive 2,500 kilograms, or 5,500 pounds. That's the weight of 30 men. Despite their huge size and strength, these bulky beasts do not prey on other animals for food. They're herbivores and instead like to munch on lots of grass and plants at night, dawn, and dusk. They have to eat a lot each day to stay healthy. During the heat of the day, these magnificent mammals can be found sleeping in the shade or wallowing in muddy pools to cool off. They love to get mucky. In fact, mud protects their skin from the strong sun, like a natural sunblock, and wards off biting bugs too. For the most part, rhinoceroses are solitary animals and like to avoid each other, but some species, particularly the white rhino, may live in a group, known as a crash. These crashes are usually made up of a female and her calves, although sometimes adult females, called cows, can be seen together too. I hope everyone learned a lot about rhinos and enjoyed making your model. This is Mr. T, and I'll see you guys next time.